Timor-Leste, Fiji, International, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, the United States of America, Vietnam, Timor-Leste, Fiji, and representative of AHA Center, ASEAN Secretariat, and various international organizations and UN agencies, WFP, UNESCO, UN OCHA, USAID, as well as representative of government ministries and institutions, Indonesian National Defense Force, TNI, Indonesian National Police, Polri, Provincial Government of Maluku, City of Ambon, and District of Central Maluku. I am deeply grateful for your participation in this Ambon DiREx 2016 Table Talk exercise on East Asia Rapid Disaster Response Toolkit, which will take place from today, the 15th till the 17th of November in this beautiful city of Ambon, which its beauty and the proneness to disaster has been described by Bapak Gubernur himself. Before I continue, I would like to process as planners, while others in the next 2 days will be prominent participants either as players, after action review, or evaluation team, observers, and element support group. Distinguished delegates, the theme of our Ambon DiREx tabletop exercise this year is promoting as rapid disaster response toolkit as regional protocol in strengthening effective collaborations on disaster response and resilience in the region. With the increasing trends in intensity of disaster occurrence, the impact may be beyond the boundaries of the administrations of one state. The fact that the disaster and its impact are borderless underlines the importance of strengthening our collaborations and partnership in reducing the risk as well as to alleviate the sufferings of the affected population. As we all know, the Asia-Pacific region as one of those that are highly prone to disaster in the world. In fact, the Southeast sub-region where ASEAN member states are is the most disaster-prone area, and yet it is a center of global economic growth. In order to protect our development gains, it is therefore imperative that we all take responsibility for this challenge and put more efforts into enhancing our collaborations and partnership to manage the known threat and risk. Ladies and gentlemen, being one of the most disaster-prone countries, Indonesia has experienced various types of disasters with devastating impact, such as the Indian Ocean, or as we call it, Aceh tsunami of 2004. That event led us to fully aware of our vulnerability, and we started to take concrete action on the importance of preparing ourselves in anticipation of the real threat of disaster. Strengthening our disaster management system, consisting of regulations, institutionalization, planning, budgeting, and human, as well as logistic capacity development, is one of the key efforts undertaken by the government of Indonesia, not only at the national level, but also at the local level. Understanding the trend of disaster occurrence globally, Indonesia has deeply committed to support partnership and collaborations initiatives relating to reducing disaster risk, both regionally as well as globally. At the global level, Indonesia also takes active participation in the implementations of Standard Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015-2030, which has 7 targets. At the regional level, that is ASEAN, Indonesia has also been actively engaged in the implementations of ASEAN Agreement on Disaster Management and Emergency Response, or we know as ADMET program. This year, Indonesia is the chair for the ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Disaster Management. Within ASEAN Plus Dialogue partners, the East Asia Summit, Indonesia and Australia have produced the joint paper, a practical approach to enhance regional cooperation on disaster rapid response, which was endorsed by our leaders during the 6th East Asia Summit in 2011 in Bali. Recognizing the existing efforts, especially by the ASEAN member states, the objective is to simplify and improve existing arrangements to better prepare for and effectively respond to natural disaster through ASEAN mechanisms such as ADMET and SASOPs. Thus, the initiative is focusing on disaster preparedness and effective response that require greater efforts by all areas participating countries, especially on these main issues. These issues include information sharing, overcoming bottleneck and capacity building, and promoting collaboration and partnership in disaster response with reference to interoperabilities. Distinguished delegates, as a follow-up to the endorsements of the Indonesia-Australia joint paper, a national initiative of Mentawai Megatrust DiREx 2013-2014 was carried out with the aim of strengthening the preparedness capacities, not only at the local and national level, but also regionally. This is because the real existing threat of Mentawai Megatrust with potential occurrence of 8.9 Richter scale earthquake and more than 6 meters high of tsunami would bring devastating humanitarian impact. Another concrete follow-up action was initiated by the government of Australia, that is the development of the AIR's Rapid Disaster Response Toolkit, which was launched in June last year in Bali. The toolkit served as a reference guide for decision makers dealing with rapid disaster response in time of natural disaster. We are all here now to conduct a tabletop exercise on the toolkit using the scientific-based scenario on earthquake and tsunami in Maluku province. The Ambon DiREx tabletop exercise involved local actors from the Central Maluku district, Ambon city, and Maluku province, as well as national and regional ones. Historical data shows that back in 1674, Ambon and its surroundings were hit by a destructive tsunami and some 2,500 people lost their lives. The latest occurrence of tsunami took place on October 8 back in 1950. Key issues relating to emergency response were identified, especially those relating to the National Emergency Management System in the early phase of emergency, the mechanism of information sharing and receiving regional, international assistance by both civilian as well as military stakeholders, as well as the management of foreign citizens affected by a disaster. Given that Ambon is an archipelagic area, one of the key challenges is access to remote areas and small islands scattered in its surroundings. Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly hope that Ambon DiREx tabletop exercise will also serve as a platform for all of us to exchange experience, best practices, as well as lessons learned relating to emergency response. Furthermore, we hope that this exercise will demonstrate the importance of conducting joint exercises as part of our efforts in building the resilience of our region. By enhancing our understanding of the existing policies, regulations, and systems of our neighboring countries, we would be able to respond rapidly and save more lives. The exercise scenario on the management of foreign citizens affected by a disaster is based on the real need, considering that advanced information and communication technology as well as transportation, lead to dynamic mobilizations of people across countries and the region. Protecting the people, including foreigners, is the responsibility of the government of each respective country. On this note, disaster risks that are potentially affecting foreign citizens must be explored, and clear mechanisms and procedures will certainly contribute to the resilience of the nation as well as the region. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, herewith I declare the Ambon DiREx 2016 tabletop exercise officially open. I wish you all a constructive and productive discussion throughout the exercise so that the aim of the exercise can be jointly achieved. I thank you very much.
Thank you.